If you don't build strength, the world is going to make you weak by default. That's just what it is. We are living in a world where masculinity has been redefined. Like, in order to stay masculine in this soft world, we have to redefine what that looks like. So part of that means redefining what strength is. It's not just muscle, it's actually emotional control, it's responsibility, and it's clarity. Because understand that right now the world is in a place where it's not going to make sense. When you send your kids to school, it's not going to make sense what they're teaching them. When you go to your job, it's not going to make sense what they paying you for the amount of work you putting in. When you walking down the street, it's not going to make sense when you see just all the things that are going on. And what your job as a masculine man is to remain calm and collected and have clarity on what you want for your life. Because when you start making money for you and your family, they're going to call you fake. They're going to say you sold out. They're going to say all these things about you. And you have to have the clarity to not get involved to where you end up in jail, to not get involved to where you end up in prison, to not get involved to where you sidetrack what you're doing to stoop down to the lower levels to deal with them. So strength is clarity. What do you want? And for me, that started when I was a teenager. I knew I wanted to graduate high school and make something of my life. So my clarity was, I'm not gonna go drink and smoke with y'all. That's what my masculinity was. Like, I know what I want. You're not gonna make me do something I don't want. You're not gonna make me do things that knock me off of my trajectory. So redefining what strength looks like for you. You also got to be able to protect your mind, bruh. You got to be able to protect your mind. Like, every time you're scrolling, every ad you see, the trends, these are designed to get you out of pocket. Right? So when you see people online telling you that being a masculine man is a bad thing, when you see people online telling you that you shouldn't want to support your wife and your children and that you got to let her wear the pants and you just got to sit back and accept whatever she says and blah, blah. Like, understand, you have to protect your mind. You know what's best for your family. You have the instincts. You have the drive. You have to protect yourself. So, for example, I don't allow my children to watch certain things. I don't allow them to eat certain things. Part of that comes because I'm trying to protect their mind. I'm also trying to protect their bodies. So when I say I don't allow them to eat sweets, I don't allow them to eat cake, I don't allow them to eat pizza, I don't allow them to do all these things that I see other parents doing, they actually get offended when I say that. They want me to change. But by protecting my mind, I don't feed into that. By protecting my mind, I don't listen to just let them dress up for Halloween and get some candy. It's only one time a year. Fuck you. Right? It's not just one time a year. When has your child ever just eaten candy? When have you ever just done one thing that was so great? No, it's your job to train your mind. It's your job to train your children's mind. Because, listen, what you put your attention on, that's what you're going to manifest in your life. That's what you're going to get. And if your attention is always on what are other people doing? What are other people doing? What are they doing? And it's never on your clarity, it's never on your mission, then you're going to fall into the trap of probably listening to the wrong people. And that's why you have to prioritize purpose over pleasure. See, when you know your purpose and you're not just worshiping comfort, you can come from a place of strength. Because when you know your purpose, it's a lot easier for you to say no. It's a lot easier when they trying to get you to let your kids do things that go against what you believe. It's a lot easier for you because if you're not aligned with my purpose, then you're not aligned with my life. But that's the problem. Too many people are walking around purposeless. Too many people don't know what they should be doing. They don't like people are addicted to comfort. And I was there at a certain point. I'm not going to say I was lazy, but I was definitely addicted to comfort. Why? Because I come from poverty. And so when I got out of poverty and I didn't have to wonder where my next meal was coming from, and I didn't have to, bypass all the things that I wanted to get for myself and do all these things, and I could pay for myself and stuff, there was a little part of me that got comfortable because you're going from an extreme situation like poverty to this level of comfort that you've never known, and it takes some of the hunger out. But that's where having the purpose comes in at. See, when I got out of poverty, my purpose was getting out of poverty, but then there was no purpose beyond that. There was no purpose beyond that. So then I'm just throwing energy here, throwing energy there, getting involved with this, getting involved with that. Purpose driven now. Financial freedom. How do I buy my time back? Purpose driven. You have to be purpose driven. Create goals that challenge you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That's the only way you're going to be able to protect your masculinity. Otherwise, it's going to be always up, just always up to whatever's going on. Whatever the newest trend is, whatever the new thing that Andrew Tate says or Fresh and Fit says, or the Democrat Party or whoever. It's going to me even. I'm a content creator. Don't just find somebody and lean on them. Use them and then get on your path, get to your purpose as soon as possible, right? And that brings us to our next point. You need to get out of isolation and form some type of brotherhood, form some type of relationship to where you can bounce ideas off of people, right? Too many people are alone, and then they get on the internet and feel like they know people because they say something they like, but you don't have people in real life. You don't have people in real life that you can bounce ideas off of, that can make you sharper, that can, make sure that you're on the right path. So many people are alone. And when you're alone, your thoughts have time to circulate. And when they circulate and there's nothing to bounce off, then it can seem like you're in isolation because you are. And then you're never able to get that true feedback that you need. Now, that doesn't mean listen to everybody, but definitely don't isolate yourself. You got to lead your home, bro. You have to lead your home. If you are going to stay masculine in this soft world, you have to lead your home. That doesn't mean that, you're a dictator or an asshole or that is my way or the highway. Leading is about getting others to buy into what it is you're trying to sell. So for me, what am I trying to get my family to buy into? Health. We're going to eat healthy, which means that we don't have a lot of the things that other households have when it comes to the food. We don't have the sweets. We don't have I get some ice cream. That's for me. But a lot of for example, I'll post videos where, I'm eating ice cream in front of my daughter. She doesn't get any. I'm eating in front of my kids. They don't get any. And people are like, well, that's hypocritical. You're eating ice cream in front of them, but you're not giving them any. Why can't they have some if you have some? Well, because I'm a grown man and this is what I said. I'm leading my household. Now, yeah, I could not eat in front of her and do this and do that, but guess what? She doesn't want any because she knows that she's not going to get any. She doesn't ask for it, and she understands that's for me. And in the real world, she's going to be around people that are eating these things that we don't allow her to have, and they're going to be around people that are doing things that we don't allow, and they need to know not to do it just because others are doing it. So if I can do it in front of her and she's not going to crash out and that sets her up. Well, the true thermostat is what tone are you setting? That is the tone. What tone are you setting in your home? You definitely need to lead by example in most cases, but also put your foot down, understand what it is y'all are working towards. What is that purpose? What is the mindset? Because when you have the mindset in place and you're able to calmly articulate that, that's going to put you in a much better position to lead. And last but not least, bro, you got to have some type of principle. You got to have some type of principle. You got to have that thing where, it's just principle. We don't allow that. We don't allow that, right? On principle. The disrespect. We not finna allow the disrespect. We not finna allow the down talking. We not finna you don't need to have some religious code or whatever, but you do need to have a code. You need to have a code that you live by, that you're serious about, that you is second nature to you. So you need a code, right? You need a code. Because when you have a code, you're able to be that much more strong in your foundation. When times get tough, you're willing to say, hey, I don't need this job that bad. That goes against my principles. Or, hey, I don't need this relationship that bad. It goes against my principles. Or, hey, my kid's acting up. This goes against my principles. I know that this is something I'm standing my ground on. It gives you that foundation to stand on business when you need to stand on business, but also to back up and be like, hey, is this even against my principles? If not, maybe I shouldn't go so hard on it. So, masculinity is not disappearing. It's just being redefined. And if you want to be successful in this world as a man, as a father, as a husband, You need to start thinking about what it looks like for you and how you can approach it from a place of strength. It doesn't mean you're sleeping with the most chicks. It doesn't mean that you treating women the worst. It doesn't mean that you the strongest dude. It doesn't mean that you willing to fight 40, 50 dudes and you outnumbered and stuff like that. To me, true masculinity is you getting principled and having a purpose that you're working towards and leading people towards that purpose that are in your inner circle in a way that benefits you, and most importantly, in a way that benefits them. But let me know what y'all think. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Information's in the description as well as pinned at the top of the chat. Exclusive content. We're going to be adding stuff more and more so that you really get to dive deeper into some of these concepts, but also grow as a person. Appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. My name is Fitz.